Modric, what a touch. Lovely touch from Modric. Rafa Leão! So there are two stats staring Milan right in the face today. The first one's a good one. In the 3-point era, this is only the second time that Milan has picked up 4 clean sheets in the opening 6 matches. The last time this happened was 18 years ago. So that's the good one, but here's the bad one. Milan has missed 5 of their last 7 penalties. And essentially, those two stats combined reflect today's scoreline. And I'm gonna give my 4 takeaways from today's match. You guys know how this works. Green boxes for good performances, red boxes for bad ones. Now, before we jump into the 4 takeaways, I think we have to acknowledge this. So after the opening match against Gimenez, where Milan lost, conceded 2 goals, if anybody at that moment would have told me that over the next 5 games, this Milan side would not concede a single goal from open play, the only goal that they would concede would be a penalty shot against Napoli in a game that they would still manage to win, travel away to Juventus, pick up a point, and from a points total standpoint, be only 2 points behind the league leaders, I probably wouldn't have believed you. But that's exactly where this team sits. And as I said before, the 2 matches against Napoli and Juventus, if they pick up 4 points from those 2 games, suddenly you'll start to feel like something could happen this season. If this team can maintain the quality that they're showing in defense and be better and more clinical with their finishing, there's no question they're fighting this season for the title. And a key piece to fighting for that would be the first player I'm going to give a green box to today, and that goes out to Matteo Gabbia. Now, there's some people that might even look at Gabbia's performance today and even consider it like a man-of-the-match performance. And this is the story arc that I absolutely love. A youth product who was shipped off to a different club due to injuries to other players was brought back, and now he has become a key piece to Milan's defense. I think the wildest part to me in all of this is an acknowledgement of Massimiliano Allegri. It is a different storyline when you have a coach come in, bring in his own players. These are the 3 center backs that I want to play with, in my back line. And, the team sort of turns around defensively and starts to do well. But it's a whole other thing for a coach to utilize the 3 same center backs that were available last season and get stats like this out of them. And Gabbia was a crucial piece to that today. His performance in the second half, that kept that scoreline to a 0-0. For me, between 66 minutes and 92 minutes, there were 4 consequential headers by Gabbia. Everything was cleared out with his head. And I think the part in that we have to acknowledge is that in the 3-man center back line with Tomori on the right, Gabbia in the middle, and Pavlovic on the left, if there are multiple headed clearances by Gabbia, it means it's a player that was attacking in between the 2 posts. Gabbia is playing that middle role amongst the 3 center backs. That means all of those crosses were between the sticks. So if Gabbia hadn't gotten on the end of those, there's a good chance that Juventus's attackers would have had a free header available right in the middle of the goal. So the fact that it was one-headed clearance after the other, when it wasn't even really a clearance, it was proper interceptions. They were quality crosses that came in from Juve that Gabbia was able to get on the end of. So to see this player, play that backup role behind Tomori and Kalulu in the past and other defensive profiles that have come in, and now being, one of the main guys leading our backline and now even representing Italy on the international stage, that's exactly the kind of storyline you want to see from a youth player. Solid performance today, locked the backline down. Gabbia deserves a green box. Which brings me to the first call out from today's match. Now, some of you guys might, actually feel like this is a little bit harsh, but it has to go out to Bartesaghi. In the first half, he was really undone by Conceição's quality. The amount of times Conceição was able to drive the ball into the box and create opportunities for, the players in the middle. If it wasn't for that, easy chance for Jonathan David that he just scuffed on, actually he slipped. There were so many opportunities, at a minimum 3 in the first half that I counted, that were created from Milan's left flank. All of it comes about because Estupiñán was given a red card, and that forced Bartesaghi to start. He was, he was exposed in the first half, but you gotta say, he improved in the second half. To see him sort of struggle in the first half, but then become, be better in the second half is the kind of growth you want to see. You do want players like this to now get thrusted into these important games playing against Juventus away from home. And to show the quality of gradually improving in the second half is what you want to see. But his first half performance to me was weak. I think he gave too many opportunities for Juventus to get on the score sheet, and for that reason, he has to improve that and gets called out for that. And the second green box in today's match, this one's going to go out to Luka Modric. You're getting into a habit of giving this guy green box in every freaking game, and he doesn't disappoint. Every single match, this guy's playing this way. And even in today's game, right? I think more so we saw even higher quality from him in the second half. 52 minutes. That was the ball to Santi. A beautiful cross over the top that led to that penalty kick, led to that foul on Gimenez. And, Pulisic stepped up, whatever happened after. But that was created by Modric's, vision and execution. But it's what he did around 66 minutes and 10 seconds that I just don't expect to see from him, but we consistently have seen throughout the entirety of the season. That interception from Modric, you just don't expect from him. In that position, with that type of an attack flowing, with this age of a player, he just sees it one step ahead. He's reading everybody's mind what they're about to do. He just gets in the way of that, heads it out. They create a second chance, once again blocks it out, goes out for a corner kick for Juventus. But he was helping create attack for Milan, but also once again helping in defense. 84.5 minutes, that slide tackle for Modric to just push Juventus' attack back. The entire line shifted back because of that interception from him. But it was what he did in the 90th minute, that ball for Leao. I already talked about, we kind of touched up on that Pulisic miss, and then there's the Leao miss. But that ball from Modric did nothing wrong. This veteran player consistently keeps delivering, should have added yet another stat to his season today, should have been an assist for Rafael Leão. His teammates miss out on the opportunity, but Modric still delivered. Solid performance, green box for him. And the next one's going to be yet another call out. Now, I got to be honest, I was reading some people talk about that they liked his performance today. I don't think so. I think he has got to do better. I even tweeted this out. This happened early on in the first half. In that moment, at that point in time, he did all the hard work. He got the ball away from a bunch of Juventus defenders, was once again left in a 1v1 situation with the goalkeeper, but he struck it right at the goalkeeper, and that's the part that frustrated me more. I'd rather he hit the side netting, miss the goal, hit the side netting, but at least go for the corner of the goal, rather than trying to go right down the middle, right at the goalkeeper. But there was another thing too that bothered me about him. 34th minute, I think it was right after that slip chance where Jonathan David either slipped or there was some other attack that was created from Juventus's right flank. They got past Bartesaghi. They tried to get a shot off, ping-ponged the ball. It fell right to Gimenez, much more towards the middle of the park, the middle of the pitch, and somehow Gimenez just kicks the ball right back towards a Juventus player. It was almost like a central midfielder, a regista for Juventus, Locatelli, crossing that ball towards their attackers. But no, in this case, it was Gimenez passing the ball right back to them so that they could start up yet another attack. Missing opportunities is one thing, but then also being defensively improper where you're giving the ball right to the opposition to create opportunities, that just, you deserve to get called out for that. Even later on, I think we all know about the 42nd minute glancing header that he got. That excellent drive from Pavlovic somehow, and Santi got on the end of that. Glancing header across the face of goal, just missed the goal, but I feel like you should be hitting the target there. We're 6 games in now. He has still not scored a single Serie A goal. The international break has come in. Hopefully that gives him some time to get his confidence back up and, take that little bit of a break, but it hasn't been good. Hasn't been a good start and deserves to be called out in my opinion, even for today's game. And the next one's going to be a shout out, and this shout out has to go out to Mike Maignan. That was a ridiculous stop. Oh my God, Mike, what a stop. Oh my God. He was not really tested throughout the entirety of the game, but when he was, that was outrageous. He just made himself as big as possible. And I don't even know if he took it on the face, but man, that stop from Mike was crazy good. And that's all that I can say. The whole, intro was talking about how many clean sheets Milan has picked up. 4 in the first opening 6 games. A key piece to that today has to be Mike. And for that reason, a crucial shout out to him. And the third takeaway from today's match, this one's gonna have to be a red box. The first red box for today's video goes out to Christian Pulisic. I think the bigger glaring problem for me is this stat of 5 missed penalties in the last 7 taken. Pulisic has been involved in multiple misses now. I gotta be honest, I, for whatever reason, had some serious doubts. Just felt like this wasn't gonna go in for some reason. I mean, I'm nervous. I gotta be honest, I'm nervous about this. I really hope. But I'm nervous. Come on. Christian! Oh my god, he skied it, man. I was always nervous. My god, he skied it of all things. And the biggest problem in this is that he missed the shot. You know, there have been a lot of people, as soon as he missed the penalty, there were a lot of people on Twitter, you know, messaging me, DMing me, you know, in the comment section, just talking about how fans are going to be so aggressively against him. They're going to say so much stuff against Pulisic for missing that penalty shot. And the only thing that I say to those people is, yeah, he deserves it. You don't miss that penalty. It's not fans ignoring what he has done for this team for, well, throughout the entirety of this season, but even for the last 2 years. No one's forgetting that. But when you have a situation, when you can take a penalty lead against Juventus away from home, you don't miss that. And you definitely don't miss it that way. He didn't even hit the target. He didn't even make the goalkeeper work for it. There's some people saying that they don't want to see fans scapegoat Pulisic for the penalty miss. It's not scapegoating, guys. He missed the penalty. It was a key moment in that game. So the same way that he has been given so much credit for the opening games, for the amount of goals that he's scored and how consequential he's been to this team to even have us sitting at this spot right now, he also has to be criticized for the missed shot. Unfortunately, we have to take the good with the bad, and the players also have to take the compliments with the criticism when they're both fairly placed on them. And for that reason, Pulisic does deserve a red box today. Now, there have been some fans talking about, hey, should we be reconsidering who the penalty taker should be? I think that's a definite overreaction. I don't think we need to do any of that. I think Christian should be the guy taking the shots. But for missing one today, rightful criticism put on him, and, you know, he has to take it on the chin. And the final takeaway from today's match is going to be a red box, but I'm going to give a shout out after this takeaway because I want to leave the video on a bit of a high today. The final takeaway is going to be a red box that has to go out to Rafael Leão. 72.5 minutes, ball falls right to him, goals right there, and he somehow just completely misses the target. And then that pass, that through ball from Modric, I mean, Leao should have done so much better with that. The fact of the matter is that Leao himself knows that he should have done so much better with that. Modric, what a touch. Lovely touch from Modric. Rafa, Leao! Oh my god. Ruben, come on, Rafa. You gotta hit it better, bro. Come on, man. What a ball from Modric. The first one, he sort of just rushed it a bit, completely missed the target. And the second one also, he just looked so rusty. So, you know, when I look at the whole Leao situation and try to break it down a little bit more fairly, I think you have to acknowledge the fact that this player has played less than 50 minutes this Serie A season. Less than 50 minutes. I think he's played 48 minutes this Serie A season. In comparison, Santi Gimenez has played 450 plus minutes. And for that reason, the criticism that I put on Gimenez, I think applies a little bit more. You're playing consistently. You're getting consistent opportunities. You're getting consistent chances to be 1v1 against the goalkeeper, and you keep missing your chances. Whereas Leao has only played 48 minutes throughout the entirety of the season. So obviously he's going to be a bit rusty. Now, does that justify the 2 misses today? Absolutely not. The same way that Pulisic gets blamed for today, Rafael Leão gets blamed for today. We do have to contextualize it a little bit because of the amount that the players have been playing compared to Rafa. But when you're a high quality player and you're basically at full fitness, when you get an opportunity like that, you just don't miss them. And you especially don't miss them the way that he did. You know, if he got off a good shot and the goalkeeper made a save, perfectly fine. But to completely miss the target on the first one, and then on the second one, a great opportunity, great ball from Modric, 92nd minute, you can completely kill off the tie right then and there, and you completely scruff the shot. That shows your rustiness, but it is also a rustiness that we cannot just accept as an excuse. But I think that is one of the elements that Allegri is really going to have to figure out on this team, because my problem with Leao is that, you know, today he was a bit isolated. He doesn't have the option to drop deep. He's not playing on the left flank. He's playing pretty much up top as a striker, so he's going to have to be a lot more clinical. But it also isn't, I don't know if this is the natural way of Leao playing. If you have him playing in a 3-5-2, you don't really have much of a role for him outside of that. Especially if you decide to play him as a number 9, not as a second striker playing a little bit behind the number 9, but actually being the number 9. I don't know how much that extracts the kind of quality that Leao actually has. Are we actually getting the best out of this player by making him play in that role? Or are we forcing him to do something that he's already not necessarily the best at, while at the same time, you know, sort of suppressing the qualities that he truly does have, which is to run, to take his man on, to have space available to him. Those aren't things he's going to see as much if he plays up top as a number 9. And I want to close off today's video on a high note. So I'm going to give a shout out to close this up. And the shout out goes out to the coach in Max Allegri. He's changed the team. There's no question about that. He has come in and he has changed the team. There are a lot of people, especially after the match against Cremonese, that were even, you know, typing away in the comment section on my videos during the live stream, you know, talking about how it was such a bad decision bringing Allegri in, kind of laughing at me saying that Allegri has a defense-first principle and a defense-first philosophy, and it should translate into better defensive structure for Milan. And after the Cremonese game, everybody sort of gave up on it. But over the last 5 games, we have seen that that is exactly what this coach has done. And as I already talked about, it's a whole other thing to bring your own favorite players in and then the team starts to perform well. But to take the same 3 players that have been on this team for multiple seasons under multiple coaches in Stefano Pioli, in Paulo Fonseca, and Sergio Conceição, seeing all these coaches trying to get better defensive outcomes from these players, and all 3 of them failing, for this coach to come in and bring about an outcome where they get 4 clean sheets in the first 6 games and essentially 5 clean sheets from open play in the first 6 games, that is a turnaround that I quite honestly, even I did not expect. This Milan team has only conceded 3 goals. The only team that has a better defensive record, I believe, is Roma, who've conceded 2 goals. So going from a team that was regularly leaking goals to hitting records that you haven't hit in 18 years, coaches who bring about changes like that from the same squad deserve massive, massive credit. No question about the fact that the defensive reinforcements within the midfield have also really helped this team. No question, Rabiot's arrival helps. Fofana's been playing fairly better too now. And you can't just look at Modric as a creative player. He's also helped out a lot defensively. Having that second line of defense in your midfield being strengthened has massively helped him too. So for the coach to bring about these players and bring about this kind of change in this team deserves a massive credit. So there you have it, Milanisti. Those are the 4 takeaways from today's match. You know, as already mentioned in one of the previous videos, 4 points out of these 2 games would put Milan into contention, you know, at least in the talks, as, you know, one of the teams fighting for the title. And I think seeing how the season up until now, the first 6 games has unfolded, this team, if they can continue to play this way defensively, but add those attacking elements, get Leao to be playing at his best, get those goals from a number 9, whichever one that guy wants to be, this team unquestionably becomes one that is fighting for the top spot. I know it's the international break, but between these 2 weeks, there's going to be a lot of content coming out on the channel. So make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter at FootballKush. And as always from my side, Forza Milan. Grazie mille. Ciao tutti. The issue was money. A generational goalkeeper saw his nickname amongst Milan fans change from Gigio to Donnarumma. And to remind him of their dislike towards him, Milan fans at the San Siro showered the Italian with fake dollars in his first match back at their stadium.